Hello, welcome to week 2 of Comparative Models in Policing. Today we are going to explain the purposes of the international police, enumerate and describe the composition of the Interpol, and discuss on the Interpol functions. So, this is our topic for today, the International Criminal Police Organization. As the world faces the issues on transnational crimes, countries gather together, forming international regimes and organizations which serve as united force to counter the effects of such crimes and to protect human rights in the international setting. One of the well-known law enforcement organizations internationally actively involved in crime control is the International Criminal Police Organization. We are very fortunate that our country, the Philippines, is a signatory country of the United Nations and a member of the Interpol. The official abbreviations of the organization, we have the OIPC, which stands for Organización Internazionale di Police Criminale. And we have the ICPO, which stands for International Criminal Police Organization. The official name is ICPO Interpol. The word Interpol is a construction of international police and was chosen in 1946 as the telegraphic address. In 1956, the International Criminal Police Commission changed its name to become the International Criminal Police Organization, which is abbreviated as Interpol. The emblem, the emblem is used since 1950 and it comprises the following elements. A representation of the globe. So this is the globe to indicate that Interpol's activities are worldwide. The olive branches, so po, the olive branches in each side, in both sides of the globe symbolizes peace. The name Interpol here below the globe in the center of the olive branches. Yan. And then a vertical sword. Yan po. A vertical sword behind the globe representing police action. Then you have there the abbreviations OIPC and ICPO above the globe on both sides of the sword. And then the scale. Here is the scale. The scales below the olive branches symbolizes justice. So the flag has been used since 1950. It has a light blue background. If you can notice, light blue ang background. The emblem is in the center, at the center of the flag. And the four Lightning flashes symmetrically around the emblem represent telecommunications and speed action. Ayan. At the 1947 General Assembly session in Paris, it was recommended that all member states adopt the name Interpol as the telegraphic address. At the 1949 General Assembly session in Bern, the organization, then known as the International Criminal Police Commission, adopted the Interpol emblem and flag. At the 1956 General Assembly session in Vienna, the name International Criminal Police Organization was adopted. At the 1958 General Assembly session in London, member states were asked to take measures to protect the word Interpol. At its 1961 session in Copenhagen, the General Assembly recommended that members take further measures to protect the name ICPO Interpol from an unauthorized use. At the 1972 General Assembly session in Frankfurt, Indonesia, proposed that Interpol's emblem be modified so that all regions would be represented. At the 1973 General Assembly session in Vienna, the emblem was modified and now depicts all the regions of the world. As an international organization, Interpol's distinctive signs are protected by the 1883 Paris Convention. Under the terms of Article 6 of this convention, which has been ratified by the majority of Interpol's member states, the signatory countries have agreed to refuse to register as trademarks and ban the use of coats of arms, flags, emblems, initials in the names of states and intergovernmental organizations. The organization's emblem in the name Interpol have in addition been registered as European Community and US trademarks. Let us talk about International Criminal Police Organization or the Interpol. It is an intergovernmental body established to promote mutual cooperation between police authorities around the world and to develop means of effectively preventing crime. It is the world's largest international police organization, founded in Vienna in 1923 and reconstituted in 1946. Interpol is strictly non-political and is forbidden to undertake any activities of a religious, racial, or military nature. The majority countries, 177 in 1997, 188 as of 2010, and currently 194 member countries belong to Interpol, and only government-approved police bodies may hold membership. Interpol aims to facilitate international police cooperation even when diplomatic relations do not exist between particular countries. Action is taken within the limits of existing laws in different countries and in the spirit of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Interpol comprises of the following bodies. We have the General Assembly, Executive Committee, General Secretariat, National Central Bureaus, Advisors, and the Commission for the Control of Interpol Files. So let us know about them one by one. The General Assembly is considered as the Interpol's supreme governing body. It meets annually and comprises delegates appointed by each member country. The Assembly takes all important decisions related to policy, resources, working methods, finances, activities, and programs. The General Assembly is composed of delegates appointed by the government of member countries. As Interpol's supreme governing body, it meets once a year and takes all the major decisions affecting general policy, the resources needed for international cooperation, working methods, finances, and programs of activities. It also elects the organization's executive committee. Then we have the executive committee. The executive committee is the governing body in charge of supervising the execution of the General Assembly's decisions and the administration and work of the General Secretariat. It has 13, I should say. It has 13 member committee elected by the General Assembly and comprises the President, 3 vice presidents, and 9 delegates. The executive committee is Interpol's select deliberative organ, which meets 3 times a year, usually in March, July, and immediately before the General Assembly. In accordance with Article 15 of their Constitution, the Executive Committee has 13 members comprising the President of the organization, 3 vice presidents, and 9 delegates. These members are elected by the General Assembly and should belong to different countries. The President is elected for 4 years and Vice Presidents for 3 years. They are not immediately eligible for re-election either to the same post as or as delegates to the Executive Committee. Then we have the General Secretariat. The General Secretariat is based in Lyon, France. It is the permanent administrative headquarters. It coordinates the international activities of member countries, holds a library of international criminal records, and organizes regular meetings at which delegates can exchange information on police work. The General Secretariat operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and is run by the Secretary General. Officials from more than 80 countries work side by side in any of the organization's 4 official languages, which are Arabic, English, French, and Spanish. The Secretariat has 7 regional offices across the world: in Argentina, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, El Salvador, Kenya, Thailand, and Zimbabwe, along with special representatives at the United Nations in New York and at the European Union in Brussels. Then we have the National Central Bureaus. The National Central Bureau is the designated contact point for the General Secretariat, regional offices in other member countries requiring assistance with overseas investigations and the location and apprehension of fugitives. Each Interpol member country maintains a national central bureau staffed by national law enforcement officers. Next, we have the advisors. These are experts in a purely advisory capacity who may be appointed by the Executive Committee and confirmed by the General Assembly. Then we have the Commission for the Control of Interpol's Files. So this is an independent body whose mandate is threefold. Una, to ensure that the processing of personal information by Interpol complies with the organization's regulations. To advise Interpol on any project, operation, set of rules, or other matter involving the processing of personal information, and to process requests concerning the information contained in Interpol's files. We have the Interpol's four core functions. The mandate and primary function of Interpol is to support the police services of its member countries in their efforts to prevent crime and conduct criminal investigations as efficiently and effectively as possible. Thus, together with the NCBs, Interpol facilitates cross-border police cooperation and supports and assists all organizations, authorities, and services whose mission is to prevent or combat crime. In order to achieve these aims, Interpol conducts all of its activities within the framework of the following four core services or functions. We have the secure global police communication services, operational data services and databases for police, operational police support services, and training and development. Okay, in their first function, we are going to expand on it. On the secure global police communication services. So how are they going to do it? A fundamental condition for successful international police cooperation. It is essential for police forces to be able to communicate with each other worldwide in real time and in a secure way. Realizing the dire need for improvements of communication in today's highly technical world, Interpol subsequently designed and implemented a state-of-the-art global communication system for the law enforcement community, which is called the I-24/7. So I stands for Interpol, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. What is the I-24/7? The I-24/7 system was created in January 2003 and is an enhanced communication service and an innovative, user-friendly tool for international law enforcement. Information about suspected individuals and groups in their activities is exchanged between Interpol's member countries and its General Secretariat in a fast, reliable, and secure manner. I-24/7 provides a creative, modern, and sophisticated way to make international law enforcement efforts more effective and easier to perform. The I-24/7 dashboard is a unique gateway that provides access to Interpol databases and contains a wealth of expert information on a variety of crime issues. This makes I-24/7 an indispensable tool not only for the national central bureaus but also for control, investigative, and analytical units within national police forces. Furthermore, through Interpol's encouragement, many national central bureaus, all of which are connected to the I-24/7 system, are now extending one 24/7 access to additional authorized law enforcement entities such as border control units and customs officials. Interpol continues to provide technical assistance and support to further extending its I-24/7 system to additional authorized law enforcement organizations. On the operational data services and databases for police. Once police have the capability to communicate internationally, they need access to information to either assist in their investigations or to take necessary steps to prevent crime. Thus, Interpol provides its second core service, which is the operational data services and databases for police. In fighting transnational crime, international police cooperation lives on information. This means that without gathering and sharing information that is timely, accurate, relevant, and complete, cooperation is limited, if not impossible. Interpol has therefore developed a broad range of global databases incorporating key information such as names of criminals and suspected individuals, their fingerprints, photographs, DNA profiles, requests for wanted persons, lost and stolen travel documents, stolen vehicles, and weapons related to criminal cases. The information contained in these databases can be critical to assisting member countries in the event of terrorist incidents or related investigations. Analysis of the information associated with these databases is also extremely beneficial to achieving positive results in fighting and investigating terrorism cases, particularly concerning making positive identifications. So we have here the Interpol's databases. First, we have the ASP, Stolen Lost Travel Document Database. So bearing in mind that terrorists and other serious criminals regularly use false documents to travel, Interpol established its Stolen Lost Travel Documents database in 2002. This database has subsequently proven to be an effective tool for intercepting such individuals when attempting to cross borders when attempting to cross borders. Since its creation and across crime areas, the database has helped field officers with innumerable cases of individuals using fraudulent travel documents. In many cases where the documents were identified as lost or stolen, they were ultimately linked to high-profile cases involving suspected terrorists and war criminals. Then we have the Automated Fingerprint Identification System or the AFIS, recognizing the increasing need for countries to exchange information on fingerprints for investigative purposes, such as those relating to terrorism and individuals potentially associated therewith. Interpol recommends amongst its best practices the implementation and utilization of its automated fingerprint identification system. So through the Interpol Office Expert Working Group, Interpol promotes the use of standards for the capture, storage, and transmission of fingerprints electronically. The automated fingerprint identification system focus is to provide general guidance to countries, organizations acquiring, developing, integrating, and operating national office systems. So the Interpol Office Expert Working Group actively promotes implementable approaches to the international electronic exchange of fingerprint images and data. Recognizing that the technical capabilities of various countries differ greatly, Interpol provides advice and guidance to member countries in the process of acquiring and implementing national office standards and systems. Then we have the DNA. So, in recognizing the ever-increasing value of DNA and DNA profiling, Interpol established an Interpol DNA unit in 1998. In so doing, Interpol has been able to foster and facilitate the advancement of international law enforcement cooperation through the use of DNA in criminal cases worldwide, as well as in terrorism cases. As such, the objective of the Interpol DNA unit is to ultimately provide strategic and technical support to enhance member states. To enhance member states' DNA profiling capacity and promote its widespread use in the international law enforcement environment. In order to assist member states and encourage DNA profile comparison across international borders, the DNA unit created and developed a DNA database together with the Interpol DNA Monitoring Expert Group. Interpol DNA Monitoring Expert Group, the external Interpol DNA Monitoring Expert Group, is the main source of reference for the Interpol DNA unit. The The MEG acts as an advisory or the monitoring expert group acts as an advisory board and provides expert guidance and direction for Interpol DNA policies and projects. So the monitoring expert group members consist of 10 to 12 senior experts in the fields of forensic science and law enforcement who are drawn from member states across Interpol's 5 regions. So, the monitoring expert group examines the contemporary field applications of DNA profiling as an investigative tool and makes recommendations on the use of DNA in criminal investigations with a view to promoting the international use of this technique, particularly as terrorism incidents are occurring worldwide. The Interpol DNA database introduces a data matching system with the capacity to connect its international profile matching system to all members states using DNA profiling in law enforcement. DNA profiles can be stored and searched across international borders using the Interpol standard set of LOCI, In compliance with Interpol's regionalization policy, the Interpol DNA unit provides regional support to member states to consolidate best practices with the ultimate goal of increasing member state involvement in the international transfer of DNA profiles. Then we have the stolen vehicle database. So the Interpol General Secretariat developed the automated search facility stolen motor vehicle database to support police in member countries in the fight against international vehicle theft and trafficking. And then we have the Interpol Weapons Electronic Tracing System, which is currently in the development stage. This is a tool which will provide member states with the capabilities to trace illicit firearms that are seized through law enforcement investigations and activities in their countries. The value of such a system for law enforcement is it will make it easier to initiate the trace of specific weapon. Furthermore, this database will be able to enhance investigations relating to criminal and terrorism matters at both the national and international levels. Then we have the integrated solutions to access Interpol's databases. This is called Find Mine. Recognizing that direct access to such information should not be limited to national central bureaus. It is Interpol's policy to expand access beyond these national focal points. In order to make reliable, accurate, and up-to-date information available to the frontline officers in real time, Interpol has developed new integrated solutions to allow for instant access, for example, to its database on stolen and lost travel documents. This new technology called Find Mine refers to the two different ways of connecting Interpol's databases at border, entry points, or other field locations. Then we have the Interpol Money Laundering Automated Search Service, or the IMLAS. The IMLAS project, which is currently in the development stage, will assist anti-money laundering and terrorism financing investigators and analysts throughout the world to automatically compare suspected money laundering and terrorism financing related queries against database records submitted by Interpol's 186 member countries. Queries concerning money laundering related targets, associates, companies, ID documents, addresses, telephones, and suspicious transaction data will then be automatically compared with the existing data in Interpol database for links with past and present investigations in other countries. Then we have the Border Import Security Center. To strengthen border protection, Interpol intends to establish a Border Import Security Center at its General Secretariat in Lyon, France. The goal of the center will be to increase security at borders in all points of entry by supporting member countries in the monitoring, prevention, and investigation of fraudulent and illegal activities in these areas. The specific objective of this center will be to analyze the use of Interpol's tools, such as the SLTD database by member countries and to coordinate the delivery of training and other capacity building measures that would help member countries comply with the present international security requirements for post of entry. The center will develop strong linkages with other international organizations involved in port security and enforcement. Okay, so our slides end here. So I just hope that very clear na sa inyo ang about the Interpol and on how they are going to protect, no, human beings, on how they are going to fight human abuses globally. So for your activities, you have AC type and multiple choices. Again, I advise you to refer the suggested readings for additional input. And for your multiple choices, always apply the elimination process to come up with the nearest and the correct answer. Thank you for joining me, and we will have more on the next lesson. Good day.